Mann, Carl Weimer, and Dave Crows, and I'm going to let you each give yourselves a more thorough introduction.
Okay, well, I'll go first. Ken Mann, I'm on the County Planning Commission. I've been doing that for about 6 years now, and you may remember I ran for office a couple years ago for County Council, didn't win, so that's why I'm still on the Planning Commission, enjoying that very much. Trying to send good recommendations to Carl and the rest of the council.
Carl Weimer, Walker County Council, and I've been on the council. I'm just starting my 4th year, and if I so choose, I have to run again this year. So I'm kind of waiting to see who else is going to run, because it's a thankless job if you don't have a good cohorts up there with you.
Dave Crows, I was on the Planning Commission for 8 years. That's the most you can do. And like Ken, you got voted twice as chairman.
I was chairman for a little while.
Yeah, me too.
As Dave was.
It was an interesting experience from a person who had really no information about how the whole system works. And I think it's done purposely so that most of us don't know. It took me about 3 years of being on the Planning Commission just to figure out who the boss of the planning department head was. And who I'm sure several of you know, you guys are very astute. Who is the boss of the head of the planning department? Pete Kremer. He serves at the pleasure of Pete. If he doesn't do what Pete wants, he's out, which happened to the person prior to Mr. Stahl. So I mean, as a regular citizen, if you don't know who to go to, it makes it more difficult. And it's just been a great education for me.
Well, the boss of the planning commission is the county council. The county council is your boss.
The planning commission reports to the county council, but the planning department reports to Pete Kremen. And the county council cannot tell the planning department or Pete Kremen what to do.
In fact, it was so bad, I'll just jump in, they had to hire their own planning person to hopefully get an alternate view from what the planning department was giving them before. That's how tough the situation is.
Well, we recommended that originally on the committee that reported to break this up. We asked that there be a chapter that we beat the minimum RCWs related to planning. That was circulation, some of those factors. We felt the planning department in the past was acting in too many roles. We recommended there be a hearing adjuster to deal with the different issues related to conditional use. Bob Cole was our chair. We also recommended that the planning commission be involved more in the legislative factors and that type of thing. And that the planning department basically deal with general issues related to this, but not be an advocate, but be an enabler. And this is where we got into the permitting section too, that the permits be done quickly and promptly. And then in the chapters also we recommended there be a thing like the hillside thing, where the small communities of people that gather that had an interest in their community could develop a plan and have that plan separate from the overall comprehensive plan. Of course, it had to meet the law and it had to meet certain standards. But some of these things have been accepted and worked well. Some of these things have failed.
So did you want us each to talk for 2 or 3 minutes about the importance of this stuff?
Yes, and
okay.
what your role and perception of them? Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, okay, I'll go first. Let me also say, being on the Planning Commission, I'm here speaking as myself, Ken Mann, not the Planning Commission, not representing the Planning Commission. So what we have here, I mean, the basic overview of the process is every 7 years we do a comprehensive plan update. The comprehensive plan is the guiding planning document for Whatcom County. It talks about everything. And coincidentally, we also have a 10-year review of urban growth areas and population numbers. Like, getting that right? Okay. Right now, there's a bit of convergence between the two processes, which is why they're calling it Whatcom 2031. It's about getting urban growth areas sized properly and also embedding that process within the scheduled comprehensive plan update so we don't sort of duplicate efforts every couple of years. It's a good idea to combine the two, I think. So what happens is we take the population projections, which we were just looking at here, then we take the existing zoning and the existing population of Whatcom County, the cities and our rural areas, and see, okay, well, through the population projections, is there enough room for all those people that we're estimating are going to move here? The answer is no, we don't have enough room, and we need to enlarge the cities, enlarge the UGAs. If we say, oh, wow, it looks like we already have enough land for everybody, maybe we can keep them the same or shrink them. So this is the constant battle that goes on all the time in the world of land use planning in Whatcom County. And what I want to talk about is how you can make a difference, right? What generally happens is during the comprehensive plan updates and the urban growth area reviews, nobody really gets involved. No member of the public. I mean, we have these surveys, we have these public outreach meetings, but a lot of people don't go. I mean, usually me and Carl and Dave that are there. And that is really when you have a chance to influence the process and make your voice and your opinion heard. Most people don't show up until they see a proposal on a map in their neighborhood, and it's the whole not my backyard syndrome, which everyone is guilty of, me and my neighbors included. You know, most people don't notice what's going on in the big picture because it's overwhelming, it's hard to understand. What do these charts mean? Then they see a big notice on their neighbor's property and they want to put in a factory, and then they come out en masse streaming. Well, by that point, it's probably too late because the zoning might have been put in place during this comprehensive plan process, or the UGA process. So it's really important to get involved early and make sure the big picture lines up with what you want. And the things that you put up there, Sue, on those meetings, that's your next chance to go. Fill out a survey, raise your hand, give your opinion, tell the planners what you want. So hopefully that information is available on your mailing list or whatever.
Yeah, and we'll send it out. We'll send out the PDF of that flyer on the email list.
How do you select who you're sending the surveys to? Since, in Point Roberts, I've never seen it.
Well, we didn't, the planning commission, we receive information from staff and from the public. We don't send out the surveys. That's the staff's job. And as we all said, it wasn't a particularly scientific survey. It wasn't done, and no one's really claiming it is. It's supposed to be a sample, a flavor of what people in the county want. And the results that I saw, being on the campaign trail a couple years ago, knocking on doors, that's what I heard all the time. There's too much growth in the rural areas. And of course you also hear, well, infill's great, but just not in my neighborhood. So people, it's hard to get the policies right, you know, it's very difficult to get the policies right. What else did I want to say? Just get involved early and often, and pay attention to the population projections and the land capacity analysis. Those sets of numbers, that's where a lot of decisions get made that set the tone for future decisions. And the other thing I think will be debated a lot is whether, in principle, we want to throw more growth into Bellingham in that urban area, or focus it on other urban areas, you know, in Everson, Nooksack, jobs and population growth out there, or in Blaine, or in Sumas. And I don't know that there's an obvious better or worse than those two. You know, that's what these studies and the input are for. But I think the population numbers are something to pay attention to, and then think about how do we want to grow, which urban areas should grow the most. That would be my speech.